Okay, Judy, so today we're going to finish up that chord that we're using, that D, so you can see it, that D to D7 shape over the A chord. So the root A would have a D shape here. If we make that a D7, it looks like that, okay? And we added a couple things when we started doing the riff. We started going, okay, so we had the root followed by the flat 7, because it's a whole step behind it. And then we added the 5th here to the riff. Okay, so we're going 5 1 5 flat 7 5. You don't need to know that or do that, but that's what's going on here. We're using just these notes, just 3 notes. Okay, just 3 notes. I actually had to slide to it. Okay, we had the root, flat 7, and the 5th. Well, every chord has a root, a 3rd, a 5th, and potentially a 7th. But in this case, it's a major chord. Okay, and we already said that, but let's go through it again. So if our root is on A, we have our D shape, or D7 shape. That note that's being played on the 1st string, okay, that is your 3rd. That is your major 3rd. Okay, it sounds pretty, and it sounds happy. Okay, so we're going to start including that on the riff. Okay, so even if we were just bouncing around with just the notes we already know the root, the flat 7, the 5th, and then let's add the major 3rd. Okay, and we'd go. I'm playing in order. 2nd finger is going to play that major 3rd, then the root will play, then the flat 7, and then the 5th. That's just playing in order, but it sounds kind of boring. Maybe at one point you might do something with that, but anyway, what I want to say is, like, I'm going to embellish that note. I'm going to actually make it a bit bluesier by putting my 1st finger behind it. Okay, so here was our major 3rd, playing it with our 2nd finger. Put our 1st finger behind it, and I'm going to hammer it on. Nice strong hammer on. Okay, now from there, I actually want to drop my 3rd finger and play the root. Actually, yeah. Play the root, sorry. Okay, then I want you to play the flat 7 after you got that down. So we hammer on from the 1st finger. That's your major 3rd. Play the root. Flat 7. I'm actually not showing you my right hand, but everything should be playing like you normally would. That's actually kind of cheating, isn't it? I'm actually cheating a little bit. You want to go... You gotta go ahead and use your MI on this. Yeah, because you're going to run into a pickle if you used A finger. M, I, it would just wouldn't really work. So go ahead and stay with. I'm going MI on that. Hammer on, obviously you don't play on the 2nd part of that, but I'm playing M, I like that. Let me get it so you can see both my hands. How do I do this? Okay, so that's your riff. I don't think I told you that, but yeah, you add the 5th there. Sorry, I'm going a little spooky here, but so you're gonna hammer on the 1st finger. In fact, just to get your bearings about you, let's drop that 3rd finger on A. That's your root, and then start the riff, just like that. So that you have the minor 3rd hammered onto the major 3rd, drop the root down, flat 7, and then drop the 5th. Now, normally this would screw you up a little bit. If you had to go from the 2nd finger playing the 5th to the 2nd finger playing the major 3rd, it would mess you up. So that's why we go, and then drop your 1st finger to get your kind of pivot back to hammer on again to the major 3rd. We're going to do that 3 times. Nice. and then I want to play root flat 7, and that is our riff. So we're going to do it nice and slow. One time through. Again. Again. Root flat 7. Okay? Now ideally we want to play that with a pinch. But don't worry about it for right now. That's where we're going with this. So if you feel the itch to grab that root, kind of hold off for a little bit, because there's a way I want to do it with the riff right now. And I just want you to focus on what your hands are doing before we add that thumb. So theoretically you should be able to play that anywhere. So let's move it back. Let's put it on the E. That's 5th fret on the 2nd string. Play that note. And if you know where that is, then you should be able to kind of get your bearings about you and play the whole riff. Okay? Let's try it somewhere else. Let's try it on G for the sake of doing it on G. So find the G on the 2nd string, and then you can play the riff. So I would practice finding the root, and then go ahead and try and play the riff from there. But you know, don't go too fast into that part of this lesson. I just want to show you that's where we're heading with it, to be able to play that riff anywhere. Focus on mainly on the A, playing over the A, and just getting it feeling good with a nice hammer on, and get your right hand getting used to playing M-I-M-I on that. I didn't realize that the A-M-I kind of thing won't really work on that right now, because I put the flat 7 and the 5th, I traded them out right before I taught you today. So let's just go with that for now, and let me know if you have any questions.